What's up, everyone? Happy WrestleMania weekend. And tonight we got night one of WrestleMania. And catch me on the Devin Travel Chiefs podcast, where I'm going to do a triple threat live stream watch along of WrestleMania night one and night two. Yeah, that's right. We're pulling double duty, and we're going to do both nights. But catch us tonight, Devin, the Travel Chief, his boy Johnny, and me, and we're going to give you a great show as we watch the great show and enjoy WrestleMania. So come join us in the live chats. It's going to be a fun time. But I'm giving you my predictions of WrestleMania of night one and night two. So first off, we got the War Raiders versus the New Day for the World Tag Team titles. I'm really upset that we don't have the WWE Tag Team titles on the card at all in night one, night two. I think Street Profits deserve to have theirs on the card as well, especially against Motor City Machine Guns. I mean, Motor City Machine Guns at WrestleMania would be fantastic and draw more people in to watch. So I am glad, so I'm upset that they did not make the card. But we got the War Raiders and the New Day, so I'm going with the New Day on this one. I think they're going to win the tag team titles and run as heels with the tag team titles, unless Big E is cleared to return and we get to see Big E return and he costs them the World Tag Team titles, or he just simply shows up and costs them the tag team titles whether he's clear or not. Maybe he comes up as a distraction and they get distracted, and then War Raiders takes advantage and wins the match. And if that's the case, I wonder if Big E is going to be able to be clear to wrestle. So if so, and he chooses a tag team partner, I also wonder who his tag team partner might be. So a lot of surprises could happen tonight. The Rock said that this is going to be one wild ride, and it's going to be one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time. So let's see. I'm ready, but I think I'm going to go New Day on this one. New Day is going to win the World Tag Team titles, and possibly, Big E will come back. And if he does, or what if, here's a twist, what if Big E returns and helps the New Day and joins them? And now they're all three heels and he becomes their manager. That's something to think about. But I'm going with New Day, new World Tag Team Champions. My final decision. So I think that's going to be a fun one. Next is going to be Rey Mysterio versus El Maricano, or as I like to say, Chad Gable with the Lucha mask on. But if Rey Mysterio is clear to wrestle, he got injured last night. It looks like an ankle injury to from what I've seen with the videos. But if he is clear to wrestle, I'm going with Rey Mysterio. If he's not, and they got to choose somebody else to wrestle for Rey Mysterio, it's either going to be Dragon Lee or Rey Fenix. I'm going to go Dragon Lee because he's part of the LWO. And then he's going to win and unmask Chad Gable with the Lucha mask on, and we'll see it's Chad Gable. So I'm going with Rey Fenix or Dragon Lee, whoever wrestles tonight, unless the match gets completely canceled and it gets filled in with something else. Maybe even possibly just switch Randy Orton's match up. So we'll find out tonight. It's going to be something to look at because I don't think I've seen anything of any new updates about Rey Mysterio and his injury. So if he is, I don't know if he's hurt and he can't compete, or he's going to tough it out and try to compete. So we'll find out tonight. But I'm going with Rey Mysterio, Jade Cargill versus Naomi. I'm going with Jade, but I'm curious if Bianca Belair is going to get involved at all in this match. And if so, that's going to determine who wins, because it's probably also going to determine whose side she picks. Is she going to decide to pick Jade Cargill or Naomi? Because Bianca doesn't have her title match until tomorrow. So she could show up and basically pick a side and who her best friend is, and we'll see how that determines the match. But I'm going with Jade Cargill. I think she's going to win. I think she's going to take this match and get her WrestleMania glory. So I think this is what's going to happen. Also, we got my boy Jacob Fatu, the Samoan werewolf, going up against LA Knight. I got Jacob Fatu in this, and he's going to win the United States Championship. But I just thought about this. What if Solo Sikoa cost Jacob Fatu the United States title, trying to help, but yet he cost him the title, which builds their story, and then we're going to get a backlash, Fatu versus Solo Sikoa, and then LA Knight keeps his United States Championship. That's pretty much the only way I can see LA Knight keeping the United States title, but I'm really hoping they put it on my boy Jacob Fatu. He's going to be a future world champion. Mark my words. Jacob Fatu, I got him in this match. He's going to win. Next, we got Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton. There's a lot of buzz around this match and a lot of people not so hyped for this match. But I think this is going to be a really good match, especially after all the escalation to their story with them throwing their personal lives involved, and supposedly it was a shoot and it wasn't supposed to happen. So we're going to see how physical this match really gets. But I'm going with Charlotte Flair. She's going to be a 15-time women's world champion and win. Tiffany Stratton might win, but after she's the one that basically brought in the personal stuff, and supposedly it wasn't supposed to happen, thinking maybe some politicking could be involved, and Charlotte Flair might get the belt. But I'm thinking Charlotte Flair wins. She becomes a 15-time women's world champion, and then she'll be one away from tying her dad's record. So going with the Queen, Charlotte Flair. Now we got, this is the one that also I heard 4 Heels podcast discuss on their latest episode about Jey Uso, and they were listening, I think it was Busted Open Radio Podcast, and Baron Corbin basically put out there he thinks that Jey Uso is the third man with The Rock and Cena. One of the reasons is because the word is going around also that I think his name, Travis Scott, the rapper, the one that helped The Rock with Cody, he's going to be going out there with Jey Uso. So I'm curious to see how this is going to play out. As if he's going to join The Rock and Cena, because he's been wearing all black lately. Now, that was part of Jimmy getting the tar beat out of him, but I think Jey Uso might be the third man, but I'll get to you here later in a minute with Seth Rollins. But I think Jey Uso's going to win. Yeet. And we're going to see Jey Uso win the World Heavyweight Championship. One of the reasons I think he's going to win is because he stated in an interview recently that he's not going to wrestle much longer. He's got a couple years left, he said. So I'm pretty sure they might give him his time and his flowers, and he's going to win the World Heavyweight Championship and get his probably one and only title run. But I'm sure Jey Uso will take it and be proud, and I'm going to be proud because Jey Uso has earned it for the work he's done these past couple of years, especially as a single star. But him and Jimmy, as their work alone in the tag team division, they basically revitalized the tag team division along with New Day. So I think Jey Uso is going to win, defeat Gunther, and we're going to see Jey Uso with the World Heavyweight Championship. And I think also it will set up their rematch at Backlash, because usually that's the theme of Backlash is rematches and stuff. So I think we'll see Gunther, invoke his rematch clause, and we got Jey versus Gunther again. Whether or not that means Gunther wins it back, I don't know. But I think Jey Uso will win the World Heavyweight title tonight. Now, the main event, Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins versus CM Punk. And also, who is Paul Heyman going to align with? He's going to be in Punk's corner because that's part of the favor. But at the end of the night, who is he going to align with? I'm thinking, this is what I'm thinking, and this, I'm thinking Seth Rollins, especially due to his promo last night on SmackDown. I'm thinking he's going to be the third man and not Jey Uso, because there's just too much going around about Jey Uso with the Yeet movement, and now he's got his own cereal. I mean, and how much Triple H has backed him these past couple of days at the with all the interviews, and he's been backing why Jey Uso is the main guy. I'm thinking Seth Rollins did it once before. I'm thinking he's going to sell his soul as well, and he's going to join The Rock and Cena and be the third man. It's not going to be Jey Uso. I'm thinking it's going to be Seth Rollins, especially if you look at his attire. If you look at his attires, if you think back, especially since Triple H has taken over, he always has dropped little subtle hints. And a lot of times we miss it. Sometimes we catch it. But if you look at Seth Rollins, and sometimes with his attire when he comes out and cuts a promo, I mean, he wore the black turtleneck with the gold chain. Rock did that photo shoot. I think that was like in the mid 90s. So you got that one. The one with the black vest and pants kind of matches The Rock at Elimination Chamber. And then you got Seth Rollins last night with the suit and the flowery suit. Same thing that The Rock wore at last year's WrestleMania. Will Seth Rollins sell his soul? And here's the other thing. Will Paul Heyman join and be done with CM Punk and Roman Reigns? Tired of being in the middle. He's done, and he's going to join Seth Rollins and The Rock and John Cena. And John Cena will win the WWE title. Because Rollins said last night he'll do anything it takes, anything, to keep WWE going. So if you think about that quote, because he's got CM Punk return, and for years he's trying to burn WWE to the ground. So Rollins is trying to fight for the soul and the pride of WWE, because he has been in there. And if you really think about this, out of Rhodes and Punk, who left WWE when they didn't get their time? Of course, Roman Reigns, you can't throw him in there. He might help out Rhodes and whoever will help them two out. But if you think about it, Punk and Rhodes left. Punk left first, then Rhodes. Rhodes left to bet on himself, and then he built himself up from the independents. Then he created the other company, AEW. Punk later joined. And then they both left when they both were getting screwed in the company. And then they returned. Cena and Rollins never left. I mean, granted, Cena left for Hollywood, but it's not another wrestling company. Rollins left. Rollins and Cena never left. Never. But Punk and Rhodes did. So you can kind of see Punk and Rhodes being the outsiders in this. And then you got basically the corporation with Rock, because Rock's never left for another wrestling promotion either. He went for Hollywood, but he remained WWE loyal. Of course, Cena and Rollins. Think about that. Oh, and Paul Heyman, same thing. Never left to go to the wrestling company either, even though he had a long hiatus for a while. He returned to WWE. He didn't go to no TNA or any other wrestling company. He returned to WWE with Brock Lesnar. So what if they're cooking some kind of WWE corporation faction with these guys? Just something to think about. But in this match, I'm going with my tribal chief, Roman Reigns. But realistically, it'll probably be Seth Rollins, and he's getting some help tonight. But I'm going with my tribal chief, Roman Reigns. So that's night one. Those are my predictions. Down the line, I got New Day. I got Rey Mysterio, Jade Cargill. I got Jacob Fatu. All gas, no brakes. I got Charlotte Flair. And then I got my tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Now on to night two. So night 2, so the word on the street is that the women's triple threat match is going to kick it off. Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair versus the women's world champion Io Sky. Hands down, going with my favorite, Rhea Ripley. She's going to win. No ifs, ands, buts, or about it. Rhea Ripley's going to win the women's world title back. So, moving on. Next, we got the Intercontinental Championship. Now, none of this is in match order. I don't think they really have a solid in match order except for what's kicking off and ending the show. There has been released anyway. So, after this, none of this is in particular order. But next is the Intercontinental Championship. Braun Breaker versus Dominic Mysterio versus Finn Balor versus Penta. I'm going with Dominic Mysterio. I think they're going to give the Latino Heat his first I would say first main roster singles title. He won the NXT North American Championship, but the first main roster title, I think he's going to win the Intercontinental Championship and follow in his father's Eddie Guerrero's footsteps. I think that's what's going to happen. Dominic Mysterio, Latino Heat, is going to win the Intercontinental Championship. And I think to end the match, and this will kind of set up Dominic versus Finn, I think they're going to have some kind of debacle at the end of the match. And then Mysterio's probably going to pin Finn. Like, let's say Finn takes the spear from Braun Breaker. And then Penta hits Braun Breaker with his finishing move, and then Dominic does something to Penta, get him out of the ring, and then Dominic pins Finn Balor. And then it's going to create their story and their rivalry for the Intercontinental Championship, which will possibly be at Backlash. Just something to think about. But Dominic Mysterio, I think he's going to win the Intercontinental Championship. And so the next match. This one's a hard one for me because I love both these guys. Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest. I love both of them. Huge fan of both of them. But I had to go with my boy, Drew McIntyre. Sorry, Priest, but gotta go with Drew. I think Drew is going to get his push after WrestleMania. But this one was a hard one because I love both these guys, so I'm kind of torn. Whoever wins, I'm going to be happy, but I think Drew's going to take it home and he's going to win. And then this will be the end of this rivalry, and I think he's going to move on and possibly challenge for the championship, whoever will win that out of Cody and Cena. So, Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest. I got Drew. Next is Randy Orton versus the mystery opponent. Who is Randy going to win? Or who's Randy going to face? I'm kind of undecided because I don't know who Randy Orton's going to face. I was going to go with Randy Orton, but there's a lot of word going around. And on Lana's X account, she shared that her and Rusev was on a road trip. Wonder where to. Is he the mystery opponent? We're getting Rusev Day back. We're going to get Rusev facing Randy Orton. It's not going to be Aleister Black. Back to the promo video package last night. He's returning on Friday Night SmackDown. So everyone was hoping for Aleister Black. I was slightly hoping myself. Give it up. It's not going to happen. I'm curious if it still might be Karrion Kross. Las Vegas is his hometown. You kind of can't keep the hometown boy off the card. And if so, if he wins, because Karrion Kross has this history of whoever he defeats, they kind of have a character change and they turn heel. Will this start Randy Orton's heel turn? I'm hoping it's Karrion Kross. Really hoping. But it probably realistically will be Nick Aldis. I think that's who it's going to be. And I slightly hope so. If you ever followed Nick Aldis, he was in TNA and then NWA, and he was great. He was the Impact World Champion at one point, and he won the NWA 10 pounds of gold championship. And he's great. So that'll be a great wrestling match. And they kind of have a little story there, so they can just kind of throw that last minute somebody put out there, but I don't think this is going to happen. This has like a 5% chance of happening out of 100. Someone mentioned that this Kevin Owens injury is part of the story. I disagree. I think he's legitimately injured. He legitimately had the surgery. And when his return will be, I don't know. But whoever is putting that out there, stop. KO's really injured. And I'm praying for a speedy recovery. But it probably won't be until next year until we see him back, possibly at next year's Royal Rumble. Possibly. Unless he gets cleared beforehand, we might even see him return at Survivor Series and joining who's ever team at that point. So I'm thinking realistically it's going to be Nick Aldis, and if so, I think Randy Orton's going to win. And who knows, we might even see Nick Aldis return back to in-ring action and be done with the whole GM thing. So, but still undecided because of don't know who the opponent is, so I'm just leaving that as a question mark because I don't know who the mystery opponent will be. Because if it's somebody like Rusev returning, they might give him the win. I mean, that may get Nick Aldis to win, but I'm undecided on that one, so I'll take the L on that. But it's kind of a mystery here. So after that, we got AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. I'm thinking AJ is going to win this match, but the only way I can see AJ losing is if Karrion Kross comes in and interferes and costs AJ Styles the match. Or he tries to help AJ against Logan Paul because he has this mission against Logan Paul. And then we get Karrion Kross costing AJ the match, and I'll kind of extend their feud, and then maybe we'll get AJ versus Karrion at Backlash. So, but I'm going with AJ Styles on this one. AJ defeats Logan Paul. And then we got the Women's Tag Team title match. Again, this is no in particular order. I'm pretty sure this will not be the match leading up to the main event, but who knows? Going with Liv Morgan and Raquel against Lyra and Bayley. I'm thinking Lyra and Bayley are going to have some kind of disagreement, and it's going to cost them the match, and that's going to create their feud for the IC title, women's IC title, and possibly at Backlash. Again, we'll see Bayley versus Valkyria for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, or it might be on Monday Night Raw. So, but Liv and Raquel on this one. Now, main event night 2. Probably the biggest main event, and one of the biggest main event in WrestleMania history. John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. I really want Cody Rhodes to win because if John Cena is not going to show up with the title, then I'd rather not John Cena win the title. But supposedly this is his little story that he wins, he's winning and he's going away. But he's got some dates set up. So, he's got a list of dates set up after WrestleMania. So that might be his little stretch with the title. So I'm picking John Cena to win title 17. And possibly Rock and Travis Scott will even cost Cody the title. Hopefully we see The Rock. Because it's been kind of a letdown that we saw all this happen in Elimination Chamber, but no explanation about it. And not even one appearance from The Rock. We had 4 total from Cena, 3 on Monday Night Raw, which technically this is a SmackDown storyline with the WWE title. And we had no Rock showing up at all. So I'm hoping at least he will show up. Somebody mentioned, though, if Seth Rollins is the third man, Rock might show up to help Seth Rollins win and defeat Punk and Roman. And he will show up in that one and in the main event night 2. And we'll see Rock on both nights. That would be great if Seth is really the third man. Or what if Punk is the third man? Maybe even Roman. Highly, highly doubt it, but he did mention that he is going back and gaining everything that he lost. What if joining The Rock is the way to do it? Or Roman might be the one to fight against Rock and Cena once Cena wins the WWE title. But the main event night 2, I got John Cena winning title 17. Reason being, because normally the whole Wrestling 101 goes, whoever is the man that comes out on top in the promos or the last match or whatever before the big title match or before their big match, the one that took the pin or the beat down is the one winning. And Cody Rhodes got 2 crossroads on Cena. So I'm thinking this is the hint of that Cena's winning title 17 and breaking the record. And he's going to be the one with the most world titles of all time at 17, breaking Ric Flair's title record, unless Charlotte Flair breaks it as well, because if she wins tonight, then she will be at 15 time, which means she's only 2 away. So if Cena don't win, then she can win it. Or tie Cena, and she will be the one to hold that for, because she's the only one that's won that many world titles as a women's wrestler in WWE. No other woman's come close. So right now she's 14 time, but I think she's winning 15 tonight. And then possibly later down the road, 16, maybe even 17, and she'll hold that for who knows how long. Because Ric Flair's held this record for a long time. And Cena right now might break it, but we'll see. But John Cena. So recap my picks on night 2. I got Rhea Ripley. I got Dominic Mysterio winning the IC title. I got Rhea Ripley winning the women's world title. I got Dominic winning the IC title. I got Drew McIntyre defeating Damian Priest. I'm going to go with Randy Orton defeating his mystery opponent. Even though I was like, I'm undecided, I'm just going to go with Randy Orton. And I think he's going to win whoever it is. And then I'm going with AJ Styles defeating Logan Paul. And I'm also going with Liv and Raquel defeating Lyra and Bayley. And then going with the GOAT, John Cena. And he's winning title 17 at WrestleMania. And he's going to go out and retire on top. So that's my WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2 predictions. Thank you for listening. And happy WrestleMania weekend. Again, don't miss me tonight and tomorrow night on Devin the Tribal Chief podcast, when I'll join him and his friend Johnny to do a live watch along of WrestleMania. So you can come and join us, join the live chats, and we're going to have some fun. So have fun, y'all. Have a blessed day. Enjoy WrestleMania. It's going to be fun. I think it's going to be fun both nights. And remember, just love wrestling.